Welcome to the 3 Degrees of Freedom podcast, where we explore lifestyle engineering with our expert guests to bring you in alignment with your own 3 degrees of freedom, location, time, and financial independence. All right, guys, today we have a very important topic, one of my most favorite things to touch on and a huge life changer for me, wellness as a force multiplier for success. So a lot of people don't think of wellness or health as something that's related to what we do in our business life. But I have to insist that health is really a force multiplier that helps you or it hinders you on a day-to-day basis. And what we don't think about is that there is this connection between how we perform and how we feel. It makes sense now talking about it, right? But when we're actually in the middle of what we're doing, we don't actually feel that connection. It doesn't really make too much sense for us. We like to disassociate the two and say, oh, how I feel is how I feel, and I just got to power through this or whatever, right? It's not until we start feeling really bad where we get headaches all the time, or we can't stand, or we can't walk well, when we really start to see it. And at that point, it's already gone a little bit too far where wellness is screaming out at you and needs attention. So when you feel better, you obviously accomplish more. Tea and coffee is an example, right? Like if you are used to drinking tea or coffee to get your day started and you end up going into the office and not having either of those, you can tell right away what is missing. Extreme energy drinks are also an extreme case when you have a whole bunch of things to do and you're just downing these energy drinks to kind of power through them to give you a burst of motivation. That's also a difference in how you feel versus what you can accomplish in the day. So just put yourself in that mindset if you've used tea or coffee before or energy drinks. Exercise and meditation has the same type of effect as well. And so really what wellness is about is just making sure that you feel good, not just for work, but as your whole life, right? And as your whole life clicks into place, that whole wheel, right, of your life starts to turn. And a round wheel turns a lot better than a square or a triangle one, right? So you want to make sure that you're strong in all areas of your life so that things move efficiently and things move effortlessly so that you have a chance to live longer and your full potential you versus a gummed down you or something that's like really gummed up in your head and just brain fog and everything like that. So health is a force multiplier that helps you on a day-to-day basis. Number 2 is your daily choices for health and wellness will compound on itself. And you guys know that I'm a huge fan of compound interest and compounding and everything. And so I implore you guys to think about it a little bit more. The choices that we make on our wellness and health keep repeating every single day. If you decide that you're going to go into fast food every morning, I actually did that on a job when I was in Washington State, going to a refinery because I was so hungry every day. I would wake up, getting out of bed, pretty much exhausted and tired. And then I drag myself to the car with no coffee or anything. And then I would drive about 45 minutes straight to a fast food place because I was starving at that point. And that was my body. And of course, that didn't start me out to success because it took me about 3 hours to get my body going to where I could actually start performing well. And then this repeated choice compounded on itself, right? Where I started gaining weight. And I started getting less better mood, right? And my life started shifting around it as well because I started feeling like crap, right? And yet I was craving some of that food. So I like to imagine the trajectory all the time, right? Of where I was on before Sophie and where I am right now. Because before Sophie, this health and wellness emphasis and compounding was just not there. I had no awareness whatsoever. So I was making these egg McMuffin sandwiches, right? I was getting English muffins, going to the store, getting English muffins and eggs and cheese and ham. And I was putting that on these egg McMuffins and I would make like 24 of them, right? And put them in the freezer and I'd pull them out and have them every day. And this was the habit that was compounding on itself before I even met Sophie. That fast food story was even after I met Sophie. So I have to admit here that there is always a push and pull and things change. And things, you have progress and then you go back. And then as long as you're making, the awareness and making the steps to move forward, this health and wellness compounding will work for you because it happens over time. And so when I talk about wellness, the number 3 thing that I want to talk about here, hopefully this makes sense to you, that when you choose your health and wellness, it will compound on itself and help give you returns, tons of returns and dividends, right? Like you will have a lot of returns on performance, relationships, and just overall health and feeling well, right? That is well worth the sacrifice of not making these bad choices. Number 3 is wellness, much more than physical well-being. Wellness, as I'm learning, has a lot of different dimensions to it. Physical, because in that example of me wanting food or wanting fast food driving into the office, right? That was a physical urge because I was hungry. But then there's the mental component because it was my way of like coping with the stress I'm about to face, which in part was caused by the slow energy that I get from the food I was eating, which is super weird. And then there's always a spiritual component if there's a higher calling for why it is that you want to either not eat meat, for instance, if you're vegan, or if you have religious impulses or spiritual understandings to help pursue a certain path in anything that you do. And then there's, of course, social pressures, right? So you have physical, mental, spiritual, and social dimensions of physical well-being or of wellness. And I think that all 4 of these things have to be kind of in alignment, and you can only work on one of them at a time in a very meaningful way. And by tackling them all as a whole, they'll all start to shift together. So when you work on one, it starts to affect the others. So that's why I recommend working on one at each time. And stress is actually a big part of this. If you are someone who is thinking about all the stress and the things that you have to do, that has a huge impact on it. And again, as far as the connected goes, I just wanted to give stress as an example because that is a physical, mental, spiritual, and social thing that affects all 4, that stress spills into all 4 of those areas. And they're all connected by hormones, blood chemistry, even down to like the pH in your bloodstream, and then electrical energy, right? Like I've looked all this up. There's hormones that your body secretes when you're stressed out. The blood chemistry changes because you eat food that is more acidic, and that affects how you feel and the way your internal systems operate. And then electrical energy is going through your nervous system and your heart all the time. That's why your heart is able to beat so consistently. The electrical energy slows down, the blood chemistry gets gummed up, and your hormones start secreting cortisol, which affects, right? And so that stress, which can be coming from physical, mental, spiritual, and social areas, then affects physical, mental, spiritual, and social areas in your life as well. So wellness is this well-designed wheel, right? That needs to be basically round and rolling smoothly in order for it to happen. So let's talk about number 4, which is ways to improve your wellness. If you understand that it compounds on yourself, right? And that it's really, really important for you for your performance. The best way I know how is from the expert herself, which is my wife, Dr. Sophie. I've been understanding her model and how she's been doing this for the past 10, 15 years, ever since I've met her. And she's really been kind of honing this model, and I really love what she's got. It is the fact that we are already whole and not broken, right? The fact that we need to fix something, right? Or we need to fill something in, like with fast food or with external relationships or unnecessary things. You have the whole model, which is wellness, healing, optimization, longevity, lifestyle, and empowerment. The acronym of WHOLE, wellness, healing, optimization, longevity, and empowerment. Wellness is the tip of the spear that helps you establish and recognize the balance in all parts of life that are aligned with your ideal self. So when we talked about it before, right, in bullet point number 3, is that wellness is well-rounded, right? It's the recognition that everything affects everything else. And also understanding that there is a better, higher potential you that you can get there too, right? You can set yourself up so that you can go onto a path of being someone who is more physically, mentally, spiritually, and socially healthy, right? And that's what we're looking to do. That's the W piece. The H is healing, and that is taking care of any immediate health issues that you have right now to help you feel better immediately. Because if you're not in a state of mind to understand this wellness thing, when you undergo a process like this, that healing is like a quick first win, right? You heal all the things that are in your body first, and it helps make you feel better so that you can stay on the path and keep moving towards where you want to move. The O is optimization, which is using data and information to help achieve the results. So it's testing, epigenetics, all kinds of other things, right? That I've been the human guinea pig on for, and it's great. It works out really well. It helps give you a lot of insights as to what to tone back and how to supplement yourself, and then what foods to avoid and which ones to have more of, and so on, right? Then there's longevity lifestyle, which is talking about like, okay, what type of choices are you making right now to help you live longer, right? So that could be supplementation. It could be choices around what you do from a lifestyle perspective, and whatever is involved with achieving a higher quality of life that you know best for yourself. We want to help empower that, right? And give you the tools to be able to do that under the L. And then E is for empowerment, which is the mindset behind the maintenance and self-sufficiency. Because even though, usually when people seek help, when people are looking for advice, the empowerment piece is great, but it's only for a limited amount of time. And really what we're trying to do is empower people to make this a full lifetime change, right? With mindfulness, because you're going to feel the best that you've ever felt in your life. And then having the empowerment there to be able to know that you can achieve this and know when you're starting to go out of balance, that is key, right? It's that awareness and the mindset behind it. So you have the wellness, the healing, the optimization, the longevity lifestyle, and the empowerment. That's WHOLE. And the last thing that I'll say about this, right, is that you've got to play the long game. Making these decisions for life is great because you want to do it before they're made for you. Like if you get diabetes or adrenal fatigue, or heaven forbid, any type of terminal disease starts coming into your life, you want to be able to prevent these from happening before they end up happening. And prevention is the only thing that's 100% successful. These ideas from Sohi have given me decades of quality life on my hands versus where I used to be, which is, eating those Egg McMuffins or driving into a job I didn't like with fast food to start my day. I don't have to take meds, or I don't have any life-threatening issues on the docket for me, and I'm peaking up around 40 years old right now. And my intention is to be able to be completely committed to this. And as I talk to you now, I'm actually nearing the end of a 48 water only fast. I haven't eaten food in about 40 hours, and I'm looking forward to in about a couple hours for me to grab some lunch and ease myself back into normal routines. But I feel incredible, and I felt that it's very important for you to understand that wellness is the foundation of performance, and it can help be a force multiplier that will help give you more than 1,000% worth the investment, right? The clarity and balance that I've achieved by doing something like this, by taking my body and my balance and my wellness seriously, is something that has helped me achieve a lot more than I ever thought I could, especially in the last 5 to 10 years. And I look back at all the things that have been done, I attribute maybe 50 to 60 or maybe even 70% to the way that I feel, right? Because feel is irrational. Even though you know you need to do something to help get closer to your goals, if you don't feel well, that emotional, irrational side will take over your brain and you just won't get anything done. So do yourself a favor and make an investment in yourself to focus on your wellness, no matter what that means to you. You know what the low-hanging fruit is for you to take action first, okay? And so I encourage you to today, after you're finished listening to this podcast, in the next couple of minutes, go and take action on that. Whether it's going to the grocery store to go buy a salad, something small, right? I want to plant the seed of awareness, because when you feel better about yourself, that compounding activity is going to take you to places that you never thought possible. That's why the best in the world have chefs at home that personally prepare everything so they don't even have to think about it. And I want to try to get you to that point where you're not even thinking about it, even though you have to put some effort in, right? And you may not be at the level that Tom Brady is at, or some of these high performing people who have all of these automated systems and the money to be able to do all this. But at least the intention is there, and you can build it into your routine to stop at a grocery store on the way home and pick up some salad materials, right? To cook a fresh salad, right? That's what I'm encouraging you guys to think about. So again, wellness is a force multiplier for success. And the bullet points are: number one, health is this force multiplier that can help you or hinder you on a day-to-day basis. Number two, your daily choices for health and wellness compound on themselves every single day. So you got to be aware of what it is that you're compounding. Are you compounding in a positive direction or in a negative direction? And wellness means much more than just physical well-being. It's well-rounded. There's physical, mental, spiritual, and social components to that well-being. There are tons of ways to improve your wellness, which is focusing on what it is that your ideal is with the wellness piece, the W. And then the H is to heal yourself, taking care of immediate health issues. O is for optimization, using data and information to help achieve the results and inform your healing. Longevity lifestyle is keeping the end in mind, and depending on where you are, trying to live longer with a higher quality of life, or fixing your lifestyle to live more wholefully. And then empowerment is the mindset, always having a mind of being, how can I maintain this and keep it, right? That's number 4. And then the 5th one is making sure that you make these decisions for a long period of time before they are made for you.
You want prevention to be the number one advocate for you being on your game all of the time, not only for avoiding being sick, but also as the foundation of you being the best you that you can be. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. And again, this podcast or this in-between episode is sponsored by my wife's company, which is called Live Whole Wellness. Please go to livewhole.com, and there you'll be able to check out all of these resources that Dr. Sophie has put together. And then if you're really interested, please comment or send us an email, which is derek@livewholeu.com. And once you do that, we'll get you tied in, and maybe you can even have a complimentary call with Dr. Sophie to talk about how this may be impactful for you if you need it. And so, yeah, I just really hope that you are listening to this, because this has been an absolute game changer for me. And a lot of people overlook this or downplay the importance. And I think it's super important to be really intentional about this, because you're going to be going miles and miles beyond where you ever think you could if you're feeling good about yourself. So thank you guys for listening. Wherever you're listening to this, please go in and like, comment, subscribe, give a thumbs up wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast, because I want to have a lot more people viewing this information and checking it out and giving me feedback on what needs to be tweaked or what can be improved. I'm always about that. So thank you guys so much for listening. Have a fantastic day, the rest of your week, and we will see you next time.